Hi, in this video I am going to cover an important concept called watchers in Vue. Watchers are very similar to computed properties, but watchers trigger a callback whenever there is a change in a specific data property. While computed properties invoke calculations based on multiple properties, watchers watch for a specific reactive data property and then fire this callback logic. In order to write a watcher, you have to use the watch keyword, and obviously that should be referenced in the top. And then it's very similar to how you write a computed property. So here you have to say the actual property that you are watching, then async, and you can access the old val, the new val, comma, old val. These are variable names, so it doesn't matter what name you give. So there is just to show that new val and old val, I've just got some relevant naming convention. And here is where you can write your side effect. So this is the side effect that would trigger when there is a change in this UID property. Because this happens asynchronously, or this is a callback, I am going to invoke a API. So that's one of the classic uses of the watch or the watchers, wherein they can invoke external APIs and then fill your UI. So now I'm going to say constant, or let is fine. I can say constant resp equal to await fetch, and then I'm going to call a free API that's available. So, and then I have got this big list of free APIs. I picked this one because it can dynamically fetch individual IDs, which is a very classic use case for us. So I'm going to just send this here, and then I'm going to do some string interpolation and pass my reactive data property, which is UID, not value because it is ref. Now next I'm going to say constant, I have to get the resp JSON. So that is equal to, again, await, and then you say resp dot JSON. That is case sensitive, should be careful. So now I can push these each of these properties into my object. So I have to first define that object. I'm going to keep it a reactive object, but a reactive complex object. So I'm going to use the reactive keyword because I don't like to type dot value in this case. So I say name, then I say gender. So these are all properties, culture, and then born. You can make it DOB because this naming can be different, but here resp.json is there, right? And then I say obj.name because, and then I say name. So you get this here. Now let's do the same thing for other properties. Gender, then obj.cldre equal to resp json.culture .cldre obj.cldre is equal to resp json.born. I intentionally kept this as DOB because this left side, the whole of left side, is different from this right side because this comes from the API, And this is our reactive data properties. So now it's time to show this in our UI. So I'm going to say simple obj.name, and let's prefix with some name here, right? And then you have gender. So gender is the part of this property, and then you have culture dot culture, and then comes our last property, not the least. So this says birth details. Let's say birth details. Okay, that's it. So that needs the mustache, and yes, we're almost there. I don't see any syntax errors. So now let's try this 165. That's pretty nice. So 16, all the fields are filled. That means it's all working fine. So that's with the watch keyword. But if you see here, the watch keyword, even when you use it, you have two places you use the UID, here and here. I mean the reactive data property, you're using it in two places, here and here. If you remove this, you obviously get an error. So that's where watchEffect is pretty straightforward. What it does is, you don't need this fluff. You can cut all this down. You need the async keyword because it's a callback, but it's very smart because it sees this UID used here, it automatically will fire this watchEffect. So that's the most important part, or that's the advantage. I think this is more of a Vue 3 syntax, because in Vue 2 you only had the watch, as far as I remember. Let's see this in action anyway. 1, that's good. 16, that's good. So that works fine. Now a slight let's step back a bit and make this again watch. Okay, now one thing that we left out is to see the values that gets passed through this. Let me add an ugly alert here. That's fine. New v then I say plus comma, then I say so this will track each and every value. So for example, I type 1, so it tracks the 1, the old value is 0, then it tracks 0, so the old value is 1, the new value is 10, because that's more like your key press event. And when you add a message box in a key press event, it tracks each and every character change. So that's the whole idea of the new val and old val. But watchEffect doesn't need all this fluff. You can remove this data property that you're watching. You can remove these new and old val. But I think even with watch, you don't need this. That is the overload that could work this way, but you definitely need the watched data property. So for example, does this work? It seems to work. Yeah, that's good. So 165 culture is, let me pick up something that has culture. So 155 has culture. Just one last check. Yes, that proves that you don't need new and old val variables every time. You can use that with watch without those variables, but you definitely need a data property for watch. But watchEffect doesn't even need that, and inside the side effect, whatever you use, based on that it picks it. Thanks. That's all for now.